Hi there, and welcome back to our channel. Today, I have an interesting movie recommendation for you. Let me ask you a question. If you had 1 week left to live, what would you do? If your answer would be to go on a road trip, then this movie is for you. 1 Week is a Canadian movie about Ben Tyler, an English teacher who works at an elementary school in Toronto. Ben's life is turned around when he receives a diagnosis of fourth-stage cancer. When returning home from the hospital, Ben comes across an old man selling his vintage motorcycle. He purchases the motorcycle on a whim, deciding to go on one last road trip on the bike as an adventure. When Ben tells his girlfriend Samantha about his diagnosis and about the road trip he's planning, she objects and tries to convince him to begin treatment immediately. Ben refuses to budge and sets off on a solo road trip across Canada. Along the way, Ben begins to think more about his life and question his future with Samantha. He initially hesitates and turns back, but resolves to keep going when he sees two youngsters on a cycling trip from the easternmost province of Canada to the westernmost. Ben comes across many interesting characters along the way, like an old man he meets at a motel. The old man shares a story of his successful cancer treatment, giving Ben more hope to continue with his road trip. He also meets a farmer who helps him fix his bike when it suddenly breaks down. He eventually reaches a national park in Alberta, where he gets a room at a luxury hotel suite. At the hotel, Ben finds out that Samantha has told his family about his diagnosis, and she's getting on a plane to take him back home. Ben embarks on one last adventure, hiking in the woods where he meets a backpacker and spends the night at her campsite. She inspires him to not give up on his life and keep pursuing his long-suppressed dreams of becoming a singer and published author. When Ben returns to the hotel, he has a heated confrontation with Samantha, and she returns back home without him. Ben decides to continue with his road trip. But when he stops at a diner for a meal, a truck crashes into his motorcycle in the parking lot, and this leaves him without a ride, so he decides to rent a surfboard and go on one last adventure in the ocean. Finally, satisfied with all his adventures, Ben decides to return home where he breaks up with Samantha and spends time with his family. 1 Week was written and directed by Michael McGowan. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2008. It was also screened at the Sao Paulo International Film Festival, the Edmonton International Film Festival, and the Kingston Canadian Film Festival. The lead role of Ben Tyler was played by Joshua Jackson of Dawson's Creek fame. Jackson won Best Actor at the Genie Awards for 2010 for his role in 1 Week. The movie is narrated by Campbell Scott, who provides additional information about the past and the future. At the end of the movie, it is revealed that the narrator is recording an audiobook titled 1 Week, which is a memoir written by Ben Tyler, chronicling his story of his road trip. The movie provides stunning views of the Canadian countryside all along the way. In fact, the picturesque landscapes and vintage Norton motorcycle are characters who are just as important in the film as Ben. The soundtrack is also an integral part of the film. It features an all-Canadian ensemble of indie artists like Stars, Suparlor Players, Winter Sleep, and Great Lakes Swimmers. So did you enjoy hearing about this film? Do give it a watch and let us know what you think in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting movie recommendations.